Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. In today's video, I'll show you how to download, install, and set up Visual Studio Code on Windows 10 or 11 step by step. But first, let's talk on what is Visual Studio Code. So this is a free, lightweight, and powerful code editor developed by Microsoft. So this supports hundreds of programming languages, has a rich ecosystem of extensions, and works on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Whether you're coding in Python, JavaScript, C++, PHP, or HTML or CSS, VS Code is one of the best editors out there. So let's get it installed and ready to use. Now, to go ahead and download this, as you can see, I'm currently onto my browser. So do onto your end, and then right after, go to code.visualstudio.com. So this is actually their official website. So there should be an option for you to click the blue download for Windows option in here. So it will detect your OS version automatically. So as you can see, it will go ahead and automatically download, and you'll just have to wait for this one to be done. So VS Code is lightweight and completely free, so it works for web development, Python, C++, and many other languages. That is why many people uses this one. So let's just wait for this, and right after, once this one is done installing, we'll have to open this onto our downloads folder. Now, once the download is complete here, so let's try to open this onto our downloads folder. So you'll just have to double click onto this file to go ahead and launch the installation setup for this. So since I have installed already VS Code onto my end, so it is showing something like this. But on your end, right after you double click onto that, the next thing that you should be able to see is the installation setup, wherein it asks you to accept the license agreement. Then you click on next, and then it will ask you also to choose the installation location. You could leave it default. Next, again, there are important setup options as well, like additional task screen. You could check add to path, check add open with code to Windows Explorer, and you could also check other options if you like. So you'll just have to click on next, and then right after you should be able to see the install button. So the installation will take less than a minute, so you'll just have to wait for that. So after installation, you could go ahead and already launch VS Code. So there would be a checkbox right after you've finished installing it that says launch your Visual Studio Code. So you'll just have to click onto that and click on finish, and VS Code will open with the welcome screen. So you should be able to see the main interface right after, when we could go ahead and start opening folders, files, or install extensions right from here. So I will try to open my VS Code here on my end. So we have that one over here. So since we have this one, the next thing that we need to do is to go ahead and install the popular extensions that are needed. So let's make VS Code even better by installing a few useful extensions. So I have extensions already installed here. So this is the icon for extensions. So as you can see, these are some that I have used already. So you could also search and install Python. So if you're using Python language, you'll just have to search for Python, and then you should be able to see different things in here, like Python debugger or many more that would be helpful in coding Python. So you'll just have to install this just like that, and then you'll have to wait for this. So this is how you install an extension. Click onto this, and then there's an install button, and then it will install for you. So there should be a description for that, and there are things that you could see in here, like how to set this up, or different guides. Or if you're using other languages like C and C sharp, so you could just search that here, so that you should be able to install that as well. So if you're using HTML file, we also have this one, live server, which lets you preview HTML files. So you have that here. You could install that. And we have the code runner. So I think we have installed that already in here. We have that, which is this one. So this will run code in many language quickly. So this is pretty helpful. So you could go ahead and install this one as well. So these extensions that we have in here are actually a key part of what makes VS Code so powerful. So you can find this in here, or you can find tools for every language, framework, and workflow. So feel free to go ahead and browse in here. Now let's try to create a file and run a simple test. So for example, let's try to test an HTML. So we have here Explorer. So we could try opening a folder in here where we want to go ahead and save our test file. So I'm just gonna choose here the documents. And then I have a test here. And then we have to select a folder. So I think I have a file already in here, but we're gonna create a new one just for reference. So as you can see here, if we open the test folder, we have another folder which holds an HTML file and a PHP file. So since we're trying to do an HTML file, we'll create a new one here. Let's name this test HTML. So this will go ahead and create a new file like this. So it will all open here, and then let's paste out a simple hello VS code in here. So let's paste it here, and let's try to save this first. Click on file, click on save. You could also use the shortcut key Control S, and then it will save your file. So to go ahead and run this, so let's try checking again here on extension if we have installed already the live server. So since we mentioned earlier that this one is important with HTML files, so let's install this. Wait for a little bit. Now, as you can see, we have successfully installed this. So let's try to go ahead and use live server into running our HTML code. So let's head back onto the file here. And then right after, let's locate the file here onto the folder, right click onto this and open with live server. So it should go ahead and try to ask you this, just allow it. And then it will open your default browser to go ahead and run your code. So as you can see, server started at port, and then let's try to check here. And we have printed hello VS Code here. Now you can see your web page open to the browser. Now going to additional settings that we have in here, so we could go through a couple of optional settings to improve your workflow. So for example, let's head here on File, and then Preferences, and then Settings. So let's start with autosave, since this one is actually important. So auto-saving your file so that every time you make a change, it will automatically save this. So this is actually important, like for example, you're busy with coding and you don't want to keep on saving your files, because there are some instances that you would be you will forgot to go ahead and save this. So that would be a hassle if you lose all of your progress. So just click onto this, and then you could choose under the following option to turn this on after delay, or on focus change, or on Windows change. So you could go ahead and choose the option, but if you don't want to turn this on, it would be all right. Just leave it as off. So another thing that we could go ahead and tweak here onto the settings is the font size. So here on font size, so from the name itself, it will go ahead and control the font size in pixels. So this will actually just be the font size of the code that we have in here, not including the user interface of the whole Visual Studio Code, but only onto the code text that we have here. So this will be adjusted for your better visibility. So you could, if you want, or if you prefer this to be smaller, you could just simply go ahead and adjust this. So just lessen this, or if you want to go ahead and have a bigger font size, just add a number in here. And another thing that we could adjust here is theme. So other people prefer to work with a nice theme so that they could go ahead and work more efficiently. So you could try to go ahead and use which one that you have. So I'm actually using default here. So you have a color theme. So you have dark, modern, many more in here, or we have light. So you could just go ahead to switch to dark or light, or you could also install custom ones to go ahead and customize further all of the things that you have in here. So you could try the Dracula in here, or One Dark Pro, since those are cool aesthetics if you're up to that. Now I'm talking about aesthetics. If you want to go ahead and customize further with your VS Code in here, I think we have that here under view, and then we have appearance. So as you can see in here, you could go ahead and add some things in here, like if you want to add a secondary sidebar. So feel free to go ahead and customize this as per your liking. We have panels in here, or you also could toggle in here the minimap, the breadcrumbs, sticky scroll, or many more. So feel free to adjust this. We also have the editor layout so that you could choose to have 2 columns, 3 columns, and many more in here. You could flip this, split it up, down, left, and right. So there are a lot of things that you could do here on Visual Studio Code. So you could go ahead and try to test out some things in here so that you could discover also different things that you want to do here or by using VS Code. And that is just basically it. So let's just quickly recap. You have downloaded and installed VS Code, and you have also installed K extensions in here. So feel free to browse more extensions that you could be useful for you. We also have created your first HTML file and customize settings as per your liking. Now you're ready to start coding with one of the most popular editors in the world. And if you think that this has been helpful to you, then don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and we'll see you on to our next video.